I've noticed something pretty clear in my own life recently, and I think it's worth talking about. I think it's worth sharing my own experiences and how I've developed as a person, because most of the progress I've made hadn't come from some huge pivotal moment or spurt of motivation. It's come from doing the same fairly boring things over and over and over again and just not stopping. Doing it regardless of how I feel. Some days I'm tired, some days I've got no energy, some days I'm having fun like with friends or doing something else. But at the end of the day, I still do the things which need to be done. And I'm not a perfect human. There are days I slip, there are days I don't do it efficiently, but the point is I'm still doing it. And this month I decided I was going to do 100 push-ups every day. No excuses, just 100 clean push-ups every day. And there wasn't a huge reason behind it. I just wanted something simple that I could do daily without thinking too much about it, which would also have physical benefits and more the mental benefits of sticking to something and doing it over and over and over again, no matter how mind-numbingly boring it was. And most days it was pretty easy to do, breaking it up into a few sets. Some days it felt impossible and it took forever. And some days I just couldn't be bothered at all, but because it was a rule rather than a decision, I just did it and moved on every day. And at the start of the month, my current bench press max was about 85 kilos in the gym. I'd been stuck there for a while. I'd done a lot more last year, but obviously life got busy, I got less consistent, stopped going gym for a few months, so it was just kind of trying to get back to where I was previously. And yeah, so I was stuck on 85 and I'd been there for a while, and while I wasn't getting weaker, I wasn't really moving forward either. And by the end of the month, today I hit 100 kilos, which is my personal best from last year. And I was super gassed about this. And what's interesting is I never felt like I was getting stronger day by day. There wasn't some moment I felt like Hercules, and there was no moment where things suddenly clicked. Most sessions felt pretty average, which is why I think people misunderstand how progress actually works. While you're in it, progress feels boring, it feels repetitive. Sometimes it feels like nothing is happening at all, or you're getting worse. Some days you perform worse than others. And for me, that was the push-ups. Some days it felt like it was getting harder than it was the previous day. But what I realised is your body is still adapting in the background, whether you're aware of it or not. And your mind is doing the exact same thing. Because this doesn't just apply to physical strength or fitness, this applies anywhere in your life. You're quietly building a standard for yourself without really noticing. And the reason why I'm using the gym as an example isn't because it's about lifting weights, it's just the clearest way I can explain it from my own experience. And in other aspects of my life, like academically, I haven't seen the progress pay off yet, but I'm still showing up every single day. Because the principle applies the exact same everywhere else. If you do something consistently, even in small amounts, it almost has no choice but to work out eventually for you. If you study regularly, you understand things better. If you practice a skill regularly, you improve. If you show up for your responsibilities consistently, people will start to trust you. And none of that is exciting while it's happening, and I think that's the part people struggle with. They expect progress to feel motivating, when in reality motivation usually shows up after you've already been consistent for a while. And most of the work that actually changes you doesn't look impressive. No one is watching you do the small stuff. No one cares that you turned up on an ordinary day and did what you said you would do. Nobody cares. But those are the days which add up. The days where people aren't watching. The days that create momentum, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. And I think a lot of people are waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel inspired, before they even start considering taking something seriously. And I've just found it doesn't work that way. For me, confidence and motivation tend to come from action, not the other way around. You gain confidence and you gain motivation by doing the thing. Once you start proving to yourself that you can be consistent, everything else becomes easy to build on. When you get in the habit of doing something hard, it almost becomes automatic over a longer period of time. And the push-ups I was doing, and still am doing, didn't change my life on their own, but they showed me something important. They showed me that if I pick one thing and commit to it, no matter how big, how small, results show up eventually, whether I'm thinking about them or not. Strength came as a side effect of consistently, not because I was chasing it directly. And I think that applies to anyone watching this. You don't need to change everything at once. You don't need to be extreme. You just need one small, non-negotiable, and the patience to stick with it longer than most people do, longer than you're willing to. Because if you stay consistent for long enough, progress stops becoming something you hope for, and it starts being something you can expect. But you shouldn't expect it immediately. And not just in the gym, like I said, but in how you think, how you act, and how much you trust yourself. And once that starts to change, everything else will follow.